penultimate round of the regular season here in the FORL Cup Series brings the feel back to Brooklyn, and it might not be New York, but it's going to be high speeds and big time stakes. This is the Michigan International Speedway, and after 13 rounds of racing, after night that will be, we'll only have one more night of racing to determine who makes it into the playoffs and who misses the cut. Here, high speed, mostly pack style racing, everyone has a fair chance, so even if you are not the quickest driver week after week, you might have a chance to make it happen with some luck and some skill along the way. Last week in Atlanta, one of the most chaotic tracks as well, former Final Four driver Ross Corlett got his first career win and broke a streak that goes back over a season and a half. After he broke the streak, it shows that anyone still has a chance to win, and so far, Jacob Wilkerson's the top man on the board here in qualifying with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left on the timing sheet. Drivers are still making it around with 21 registered for today. We'll see whether or not 21 are going to race tonight, but we do have over 20 in our server getting ready to rumble here in Michigan. Coming through this time by, though, that's going to be Hunter Bogdan going up into 5th on the order. This is the Empire Designs 190, and we take you all the way to the Michigan International Speedway. We went down south for Atlanta, coming right back up north, and we'll stay closer to Michigan, heading down to Richmond after the night. Wednesday night, it'll be another great race to finish off our regular season campaign. For those of you tuning in live on FTN tonight, great to have you all aboard. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and after a lot of chaotic racing to this week's start on FTN, Atlanta on Monday night, it was Tuesday night at Talladega. Michigan's a bit different. It is not a super speedway style track in one sense. You are not on the throttle 100% of the time. However, you certainly see a lot of high speeds here, even higher than something like Atlanta, the new configuration and all. These drivers are hitting 190 miles an hour alone and will definitely be touching 200. Even if you're not on the throttle all the time, unrestricted motors means higher speeds, and it might be that much riskier. Not the biggest of card counts, given how big the series has been with registration this season, which might allow for some longer green flag strategy to play out. It's going to be a different style of racing tonight, and the drivers know, keep an eye out for everyone around you. It might not be all draft, it might not be all about the packs, but it's a mix of individual lines, what works best for you, and adapting that to the rest of the field. Chance Parker is scored right now in the 15th spot of the 15 drivers that have taken the time. Looks like one machine is course. This is Anthony Trippi making it around for his first time lap. That 84 for Optic Gaming goes up into 16th, looking to get a fast lap this time by. Already fans in the chat, one rooting for Joey Stone and DeHub Motorsports. Great to have you all aboard, and if you do have a favorite driver or favorite team you'd like to shout out, be sure to let us know in the FTN chat room. We read every message, and we'd love to have, of course, the viewers shouting out their favorite drivers and teams, and of course the drivers love to hear it back when they watch these broadcasts. Now, a lot of these guys do watch the races back, not only to check out what happened throughout the events, but sort of to see the fan support. So if you have anyone to shout out, let us know. We're still early in qualifying here with 4 minutes left, so we got a ways to go until things are truly settled. Joseph Lewis at the line takes it up to 13th. And still has one more lap in him. Looks like he's going to stay on the circuit here and keep it at 163 miles an hour, going through turns 1 and 2, getting the power back down, and the motor will spool up immediately, going up to 175 halfway down. Looks like for Lewis that time by, he was not expecting to get a flying lap in. He lost a second going into 1 and 2, so this will not be a lap that will improve on his time. Looks like Joseph is set to come down to pit road this time around, and the game stop number 28 abandons its qualifying run, taking it to the bottom side of the track with Bryce Hamrick and Kenny Reel not taking times. Neither is Joey Stone. So as it stands with 3 minutes and 52 seconds left, no driver on the track. Joseph Lewis, the most recent on the board, and James Thurston is the fastest in qualifying by 1/10 of a second. It's going to be Thurston ahead of Workman and then Jacob Wilkerson, and the track right now is empty. Joey Stone might go out for a qualifying run. He's done it multiple times very late in the session, but right now it is Thurston, the fastest man in that number 4 machine. A multi-time winner this season. He got it done first to the Magic Mile in New Hampshire, and now Kenny Reel will make it out, so Kenny will be on the way as qualifying almost over. Now this number 11 set to take the final time of the session. And Tolan coming into the chat room rooting for Joey Stone. Tolan, the owner of Tango Paints, they bring you lap 9 and lap 109 every night here on FTN. So if you, of course, are watching tonight's presentation, the Tango Paints crew, they're a big reason why we're able to bring these presentations and broadcasts to you week after week. Their support is greatly appreciated, and I know that Toll in particular, working with Joey Stone and the Ancient World group to make some fantastic paint schemes week after week. I don't believe they're running the throwback paint anymore. They ran the throwback to Penske Racing and Rusty Wallace for a few weeks there. That will no longer be the case, going back to the Kick streaming machine for the remainder of the tour. Mullet Man going to be in chat as well. Looks like also rooting for Joey Stone, a big fan favorite for tonight's racing. We missed him last week at Atlanta. Great to have him back, so filling out the field with that much more talent as Kenny Real going to make it around this time by 2 minutes and 15 seconds left on the board. If you have not gone out on the track by now, you will not have time for a full qualifying run, and if you don't go out on the track within 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, you won't have the time to get any qualifying lap in at all. So you really got to make it out now. If there's any final thoughts about going out for a qualifying lap, you can't wait much longer. Kenny Real decides to wait till nearly the last minute, and he still finds himself going here as timing and scoring is still updated. So still with that in mind, Kenny Real will be the final change on the order, but we've got ourselves a starting grid that's nearly entirely complete. 13 rounds into the regular season, we brought the field back to Michigan for the first time this season, and how's about we get to know your starting grid for today's event. Without further ado, this will be the starting grid for the Empire Designs 190 here for the Michigan International Speedway, and it's Northeast Racing once again from this 2-mile track. Top of the board right now, you see James Thurston up on the pole position with a 38.788, just ahead of Ethan Workman. 38.903 shows the big separation between Thurston and the rest of the field. Then from there, Jacob Wilkerson going to find himself in third, 1,000th off the front row. He'll be starting there in the third spot with a 38.904. Fourth place will be River Page with a 38.935. And to round out the top 5, it'll be Henry Kaloff and the number 63 with a 38.938. Then from there, Ross Corlett going to be position number 6, 38.958 for Ross. Our defending winner, Hunter Whitlock, comes back with a very good qualifying run. 7th place for him, 39.028. And Michael Deitch will be there in the Great 8. 8th place for the 57, 39.079. Andrew Cootie going to be 9th spot with a 39.089. And Hunter Bogdan rounds out your top 10 with a 39.124 in that 00 machine. Going from there on out, Max Molina going to find himself 11th, your defending champion, starting just outside the top 10 with a 39.165. And Dustin Pickle will round out the first dozen, 39.171 to the outside of row number 6. Then from there, Joseph Lewis going to be 13th, and it'll be Jackson Carr in the 14th spot with Anthony Trippi, then position number 15, 39.323 to round out the top 15. And Xander Prestige coming off of his first top 5 of the season. It's going to be a 39.339 for the number 1 team. Position number 16 goes to Xander, with Kenny Real only making it up to 17th on this qualifying run. 39.631 for Kenny and the number 11 team returning from a suspension. And Chance Parker finds himself the final man with a time lap, 39.729 for the 42. Joey Stone opts not to take a qualifying lap, and he'll start 19th in the back of the field, preferring to run through the pack and get some experience racing the guys. And Bryce Hamrick will not be racing, starting in 20th. Zach Milano back on the race control box tonight is registered 21st to round out your starting grid in the Empire Designs 190. Michigan has a grid, and now it's set to have one great race. The field right now not going to be on the circuit. They'll be heading through, and it looks like a new session, so qualifying is going to be reset, and it looks like we're going to have to take a brief break here. Max Molina letting us know we are not going to be using this session, so we'll bring it back after a brief moment. Interviews, we'll try to get him after the race. Right now, we'll just worry about getting to our new session. You're watching the FORL Cup Series and the Empire Designs 190. Looks like a bit of a session error, and we'll bring you back after this brief message, courtesy of all our partners here live on FTN. Thank you all for your patience. It looks like there was an issue with the session and some administration errors, and we'll be right back after this brief break.
Racing isn't easy. but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Now we're coming back, letting you all know that we're still waiting on the server for the race to be made. It is not yet up after a bit of an issue regarding one of the drivers being disconnected from the session. As it stands, we do not have a race to show you. Admins are still working on getting that all together with the exact same qualifying grid as before. So the moment we get inside the session, they'll most likely already be pacing or already at their first lap. The session is still not yet up here on FTN, so not much else we can tell you at the moment. We're waiting on things to get better, and we'll have the race as soon as possible. But so far, after a bit of an issue here from Michigan, the race has been postponed, and we'll be getting into it very, very soon. Session just went up. Looks like there's going to be a 5-minute buffer before the race begins, and we should be racing before 9:30 Eastern, getting ourselves on the way with more than enough time to finish this one out before we head late into the night. Great to have all the admins fixing this one up again. No qualifying. Everyone is going to be loaded up in their same qualifying position, and it looks like session is up right now, so we're loading into it as we speak. Getting back into this one here in Michigan. This is the Empire Designs 190, the penultimate round of the FORL Cup Series regular season, and right now the bubble battle is as close as it can get. A lot of drivers find themselves comfortably in. Rookies such as Wilkerson, veterans such as guys like James Thurston, Andrew Cootie. Right now, Michael Deitch is the first man out, and even though he's ran about as many races as Chance Parker, he's had a few worse finishes. A 34th place finish at Kansas would cost many points. It's going to be Sean Rowe, Chance Parker, and Michael Deitch battling in the bubble. Now, Michael Cormetis is also up there in the bubble situation, but he's got multiple podiums to back up a part-time campaign, so he might be able to last at least one more race, maybe have to fight at Michigan, but thanks to his consistency, he's not yet in immediate danger. Drivers are getting the session back up on the way. Gonna have a few minutes to get everyone going. It's only gonna be the drivers who made it into qualifying beforehand, so no other drivers making it through. Qualifying grid will be exactly the same as before. We ran through it before this session error occurred, and now we're set to bring you all the action here from Michigan as drivers load in as quick as we're getting to it. Time to get to the racing. This is the Empire Designs 190, and we'll get to it as soon as possible. We're already halfway through in terms of loading in, and the iRacing session is back up, so let's get ready. It's going to be in just a few moments time the racing gets back on your screen, and it will be the Empire Designs 190 presented to you live. 95 laps of racing, and there we have it. Now we've got ourselves the track, and drivers are already set on pit road. Hunter Bogdan's the first man in, and we're set to get at it once again. Already inside of our track here, Michigan Speedway comes alive, and the virtual stands are packed more so than pit road. Only Hunter Bogdan is loaded in so far, so he beats us to the punch. Then River Page gets in, and already drivers are loading through. When we have every driver from the original session, we'll get back to the racing, and we'll skip this warm-up session. This is second practice, effectively, and it gives these drivers a bit more time to prepare for the race, but it's still unexpected. 6 minutes, 49 seconds and counting down here in the FORL Cup Series as drivers continue to get added. It's going to be Andrew Cootie, Jacob Wilkerson, Ethan Workman, Bryce Hamrick, Henry Kaloff, all loaded in on your screen. So far, very few drivers have taken a lap, so we'll see that update as the drivers get back on the way. The track is filled as more and more they come onto the circuit. And after a brief session error, everyone's back on the way like it was before. Just a bit more practice. As soon as everyone comes in, we will be skipping to our main race, the feature event here in Michigan. And after a slow start to this one, hopefully we'll see some clean racing here, as it's going to be a very wide racing surface to play with. Atlanta, which we went to last week, not so much. Minimum room for error. We did have a good race, but it was, of course, hampered by some of those cautions late in the going. Here at Michigan, you can run around the track a bit wider, use every single inch of it to your advantage, and you won't have to worry as much about the limitations of space here. It's a fast track, and it will not come back to bite you if you go a bit too high, a bit too low. Everywhere is feasible. You just have to make it work with the right people by your side. 5 minutes and 35 seconds left here in warm-up. Let's take a lap on board with our fastest man of the session. When they come around this time by, we'll have our first official time laps, and it looks like Workman and Page will be the quickest two. 2. River takes it down to the stripe in about a half lap's time. Right now, Ethan Workman makes it through to go first on the order with a 39.064. And with a bit of time before drivers are all in the session, we'll ride on board with the number 23 machine as he takes it around one lap here at the Michigan International Speedway. And at the line, that's going to be the fastest lap of the practice session so far. Ethan Workman is the quickest man with a 38.752. Fastest on the board with 4 minutes and 26 seconds remaining. That's the way it goes so far in the Empire Designs 190. Second practice after a brief qualifying hiccup, and now almost every driver is registered. Even if everyone doesn't make it back in, we'll be racing in 4 minutes time. Get back onto the pacing and get the grid going, and then from there it's time to get racing without any stopping from here on out. 5 drivers have taken laps so far, now make it 6 with Xander Prestige, so already a few more drivers getting laps than beforehand. Now with these extra laps of practice, some guys might have a bit of an advantage. Even though it is the same track settings, the conditions might change just a bit different here in iRacing. The realistic factor of the weather and the climate means an awful lot in how these drivers interact with the track. It could develop and wear a bit different than it would have been in the previous session. Well, I'm sure that might not be the biggest of issues for these drivers. A lot more to focus on. It certainly is going to come into their minds once or twice here, as they know Michigan is a slick surface. You can see the distinct grooves. It's a lot like Auto Club in California, the northeast version of that iconic 2-mile track. Michigan came first though, so there's reason to say that Auto Club is more like Michigan in the west. This track has been going for over 5 decades, nearing on 60 years of history, and at one point ran a 600-mile race of its own. And before the World 600, now the Coke 600, was the only true endurance race. Michigan had their own as iconic as Charlotte, and while it does not get it running anymore in the real world, it can still happen here virtually, and here in iRacing, many possibilities that don't exist in reality, such as what we just saw, happen. A virtual disconnection gets drivers reset, and the fastest man in second practice is Ethan Workman. The field is ready to go at it, and now the green flag set to fly in just 1 lap's time. We got 1 pace lap, and then we'll go from there. James Thurston is set to lead the way. Number 4 machine already going to be down to the bottom side of the track on pit road, and he's going to see Ethan Workman right there with him. Drivers get onto the grid for the first time tonight after a hiccup in the first session that was created. Now we are good to go all over again. Looks like 20 people have registered for this race, 19 drivers and 1 race control. Bryce Hammer going to be substituting in race control duties for the remainder of the night following that initial error, and it looks like now Bryce is going to be in full control of what happens here in Michigan. 19 drivers he'll have to work with. We're waiting on Jacob Wilkerson, Jackson Carr, and Anthony Trippy. When they head onto the grid, we'll be good to go. iRacing official Pace Truck is set to grab a gear very soon. Only 2 more drivers we're holding out for, and once they are on the track, we'll be getting ready to go at it all over again. Qualifying going to be fixed tonight. It was originally a timed lap qualifying. Now after the session error, they were assigned these positions, and Thurston keeps the pole position indeed as the drivers roll off for the first time here in Brooklyn. And now as every driver gets on the way, James Thurston's down low, has himself on that pole position. It's going to be Ethan Workman up top. And tonight, the regular season battle going to be a very important highlight. Chance Parker coming out of pit road right now. He starts 18th. He needs to keep those points ahead of Michael Deitch because Deitch is starting in 8th. And right now, a 10-position disparity would be enough for Deitch to get on the flip side of the coin and find himself going into Richmond with a positive amount of points to make it in to the playoffs. playoffs. He's in a better position to go fight for a championship right now, and even if those positions are small in terms of advantage, 10 spots can mean a lot. If Richmond is a very bad race for the both of them, or if they both don't show up, whatever the hypothetical is, tonight might be the determining factor. Michael Deitch nearly wrecks. And I'm not quite sure what that's about. We already almost see a yellow flag come through under pacing. It looks like a bit of contact between Whitlock there and Michael Deitch warming up their tires. They go into each other, and luckily nothing comes of it. That could have been a disaster in itself. Nothing will come of it, though, so no incident to worry about. Up in front, James Thurston and the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports crew look to lead the way. After a bit of a hiccup to get us here, it's time to race like we've never ran before. It's been a season waiting to get back to Michigan, and after a thriller in Season 2, it's time to make it 3. 3 times the charm from Michigan International Speedway. This is the Empire Designs 190, and we're underway from the Northeast. As the field comes around for the first lap of the day, it's going to be James Thurston up on top. Now seeing a bit of battle right behind. It's going to be River Page and Ethan Workman working it side by side. And just like that, high octane racing, 188 miles an hour down the back straightaway, getting up to a high of 195 for River Page. He'll back it down, but James Thurston's already got himself an advantage. Most of the field not able to keep up here. Already some clusters of drivers forming front field and then the back. River Page jumps up big in a second, though. Huge moves for him. And River, who has not been a competitor full-time this season, trying to make up these spots and points when they matter the most. The victory tonight would be amazing. His best finish this season came as a second place in the Milwaukee Mile. He has not won since Milwaukee in Season 2 and looked to break that streak at the third running of the Devon Cope Memorial. Wasn't able to make it happen. And now tonight looks to find himself fighting to victory lane yet again. Second place is the best he's done, but he knows he can get that one spot more. He's a fantastic driver when all goes together. He just has to stay calm and coordinated to make it there till the very end. And James Thurston, the master of coordination, has been second to none in terms of planning out a race and executing. He is one of those drivers that you cannot beat unless you really get lucky and find yourself on a perfect strategy. He's fantastic no matter what track we go to, no matter what speed the track is, no matter what distance. An all-around top competitor in this league, and his results have not really shown it. He's had several races where he's had a race-winning opportunity go to waste due to wrecks up in front, most often collected by lap machines, not the drivers around him, but drivers he's already put himself ahead of, and they just find themselves on the same real estate of the track once again. Goes to show how dominant James Thurston has been, just has not been able to get to the checkered flag as many times as he's wanted to. Still has himself 2 victories on the season, has been a phenomenal contender all season long, and since guys like Workman, Wilkerson, Andrew Judy have not been up there as of recent, Thurston's had the chance to claw back a few more points and get inside the regular season championship battle, which is also heating up at the same time. 5 laps into 95 so far, already going to be single file for the majority. Joey Stone going to be right there with Hunter Whitlock, and Joey's got himself a brand new machine to work with. It's the Chevy Camaro representing Ancient World.GG, coming back after his throwback swing to Milwaukee up to Atlanta, which he missed. Now brings back the rookie stripes with the iconic Ancient World colors, and Joey Stone representing the team from not only himself but Justin Mons. Justin isn't here tonight, but that beautiful number 8 is going to be carrying the banner for the entire team, looking for another great run. Hunter Bogdan off the back of one of his best runs in his career. It was Bogdan who got it done at Pocono for a top 5 finish, and now has himself firmly in the battle with the bubble drivers. Even though he's not been the quickest driver all season long, good runs late might be enough to solidify himself contending against part-time drivers such as Chance Parker, Michael Deitch, and the rest of those who are still fighting to make it into the playoffs. Not everyone one's guaranteed so far. Some drivers like this number 4 machine might be a safer bet than others, but it doesn't mean that will stay that way as the night goes on. The season hangs in the balance of not only this race, but the next after it, so anything that happens here could affect the rest of the going. Already 7 laps in, River Page finds himself in the second spot, and as we look on board with this number 24 machine, you'll see what's going on as he tries to get back up to your race leader in James Thurston. As they come through 8 laps in of 95, River Page going to be second to James Thurston. It's a 1-2 with 2 Fords up in front. Then you'll see Ethan Workman representing the Silver Ovals, and the Bowtie Boys will be led by Andrew Cootie. He's there in the 5th spot right now. Nobody around him, but Wilkerson's going to be on the back bumper, putting down some pressure for the McConey setup shop number 43. Brand new look for Wilkerson, returning after a few races of absence, and Wilkerson's one of the hottest rookies all season long. Multiple victories, and it looked like he would almost go for 3 wins in a row to start the season. Found himself involved with an incident at Sonoma, and from there on out, while he has been a controlling force, winning at Phoenix as well, he has not been able to put up the same undisputed dominant numbers that he began his championship tour with, winning at Daytona in his first ever Cup Series race, and from there he has been phenomenal, but coming back to earth a bit more. 4th place right now and creeping up on 3rd, but has not been able to get it done for a race victory since the very beginning of the season. Now going to be beating and banging with Ethan Workman, sends Ethan up to the middle groove. Workman's going to be up there nearly to the top of the wall, and Andrew Cootie's got a shot to make a run of it. Chooses to stay on the back bumper right now with Ethan Workman not being helped. It'll be Cootie and Wilkerson bottom side, making it by for 10 laps of 95. Now 10 laps in, we've just passed our lap 9 point, and as always, Tango Paint representing as the official graphic design partner of FTN, and they brought to you that most recent lap 9 of 95. If you'd like to check out the highest quality iRacing liveries and paint schemes on the market, check out Tango Paints on Twitter.com. Prices start at $50 for sim racing liveries you can't beat. Represent your sim racing identity with Tango Paints today. We'd love to have you join the Tango Paints family, as they are proud to be the official graphic design partner of FTN. We'll bring you back after this brief message, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints. And coming back now, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints, bringing lap number 9 to you. Now we find ourselves at the end of lap number 11, and James Thurston going to be breaking out with Jacob Wilkerson there in second. So a bit of a shuffle since we last looked at the drivers directly, and all of a sudden that number 4 machine getting more and more of the gap he will need to maintain the race lead, with River Page nearly spinning, saves it phenomenally. My oh my, River Page nearly goes around and keeps himself straight. No caution flies. That's a make or break moment, and River opts to keep himself steady. Great move there from that number 24. And how about that one, River Page? We're taking it back to find out what he just did. Very close call to an incident, and he keeps it straight all the way. Taking it back 30 seconds. What a move that was from River. And you can see Ethan Workman there, quarter panel tap, and River gets tapped multiple times. Somehow saves it, does not go around, chooses to play it steady, get back on the brakes, and keep himself there inside the top 10. Currently 8th. Man, oh man, River Page with the move of the race so far. That's the difference between heading back down to pit road early and keeping the run alive for that number 24 crew. Great job for River Page, keeping it straight. And now 13 in of 95. It'll be James Thurston leading with a bit less competition. Single file, multiple cars deep, and right now double file is almost out of the question entirely. Closest battle right now is Joey Stone and River Page. Joey now going to find himself in the back bumper of this number 94 machine, 24 now, and River's number 24, a throwback to Martin Truex Jr. and the entire Furniture Row Racing team. Now from the front of the field down the back, facing some troubles as Stone goes down low. And Joey Stone opts to take it to the bottom side here on River Page. Now, despite how fantastic that save was and the fact that River only has a minimal damage, if any, the tires will have most likely shredded at least a bit after that most recent incident of contact. Now, even though River right now holding on strong inside the top 10, he certainly does not have that pace that kept him up there with an insane claw up. And it's a factor, of course, his very aggressive climb to the top of the charts and the contact too. And all of a sudden, River might not have the pace to keep it ahead of Michael Deitch here. Michael coming up on him quick down the back straightaway, and Deitch needs any position that he can get. Right now in a fierce regular season battle with Chance Parker to be the final man inside the playoffs, and Deitch finds himself 10th. Chance Parker is in 17th, so the difference right now, while it is clear, Michael wants to solidify himself that much and go for a firm top 10 finish. Goes up high after River blocks low. That slows the both of them down, and looks like now Deitch is going to have to lay back and let that number 24 machine do most of the work. He'll go up high, and now Kenny Reel's got a shot, and this is what it's like fighting at the bottom of the order for the playoffs. You might be, of course, a good driver. You might have not made every race, and now you're stuck in this position. It's not the best place to be in, but if you can hustle through and make things work when they matter the most, being clutch makes it into the playoffs. And right now, Michael Deitch looking for a clutch performance representing the University of Akron, and the caution flies as Dustin Pickle and Xander Prestige make contact. And just like that, yellow flag is out for the first time today, 16 laps in of 95. Let's take a brief look back and find out what happened, as the instant replay going to show you Pickle up top. Number 21 machine looked to be ahead of Xander Prestige, but Xander's coming by much quicker. Dustin wiggles up to the wall, then hits Xander and takes them both spinning. Eventually, Xander's going to go around, and Dustin looked to be out of control from the start of that straight. And all of a sudden, Xander might have gotten the worst of it, spinning and losing even more track position. Yellow flag is out, 17 laps in, out of 95, and we've got ourselves our first caution in the Empire Designs 190. James Thurston leads the way, Jacob Wilkerson second, Andrew Cootie third, and Ross Corlett now finds himself in fourth. Pace car, the lights are on, and we might see some drivers opt to go down a pit road here for the first time tonight. It looks like right now James Thurston will echo that statement and bring himself down the pit road and take the entirety of the field. Very predictable here, of course. We've ran nearly a quarter of the race already, and you do not want to wear out your tires too much here at Michigan. They will be shredded. High speeds, a worn out surface, combined to need tires as much as you can get them. Now down to pit road. This time around, River Page is going to be not behind Thurston any longer, but he'll have to come into his pit stall a bit closer to that number 4. Thurston's got the edge up in front. We'll check out your pit exit cameras. They make it through this time by the 4 machine at the front of your screen. Gets beat out by Ross Corlett. It'll be Corlett, Andrew Cootie, and then in third, going to be James Thurston, followed by Jacob Wilkerson, Ethan Workman, Joey Stone, Max Molina, River Page, Kenny Reel, Henry Kaloff, and then going to be the number 5, Hunter Whitlock, Joseph Lewis 13th, Chance Parker 13th, Dustin Pickle 14th, and Jackson Carr rounds out the top 15 as the field back in order. This time, the teammates who dominated last week are up in front again. CCH Motorsports sees Ross Corlett in first and Andrew Cootie in second. 1-2 for the drivers who controlled last week at Atlanta, and now they might be planning the exact same strategy, just at a different track. They were absolutely on the ball last week at Atlanta, but at that track, it's very, very hard to pass. Doesn't matter where you are on the circuit. High side, low side is very, very narrow, and the narrow nature of the track leads to a sort of racing that absolutely challenges any driver to make a pass. So if you have your teammates around you, you'll be in a great position to go all the way. And so far, so good for the pit strategy of Ross Corlett and Andrew Cootie, leading with 1 lap to green, coming through. This time by the iRacing official pace car, set to turn off the lights and let the drivers get right back at it. Green flag going to fly at lap number 20, and it's going to be Ross Corlett and Andrew Cootie first and second. The choose rule going to be in effect very soon, and they'll be choosing high or choosing low. We'll see where the teammates go and hope to split the rest of the field apart. And as the drivers come by this time around, Ross Corlett going to be leading the way, Andrew Cootie then going to be second, James Thurston is third, and Jacob Wilkerson is position number 4. To round out the top 5, you'll see Ethan Workman and Joey Stone will then be in 6th, Max Molina is then 7th, it'll be River Page 8th, Kenny Real 9th, and Henry Kaloff rounds out your top 10. Single file no longer, James Thurston goes down low, the teammates of Corlett and Cootie opt to go high, so the control car will have the momentum and have that jump off the start-finish line to maybe clear James Thurston down low immediately. So some strategic games in play, and the two teammates for CCH Motorsports opt to go together instead of separating the field. They work with each other as long as they can as we come back for our first restart of the day here in Michigan. Corlett and Cootie up high. It's going to be James Thurston and Ethan Workman right down low, and right behind the both of them you'll see Kenny Real and Jacob Wilkerson as well. Coming through this time by iRacing official pace car is down and in, and 20 laps in of 95. Let's get the show back on the road. Green flag is going to fly with Ross Corlett as your race leader. We're back on our way, led by the number 91 with James Thurston on the bottom there in tow. And it looks like already one driver going to get way loose that time around. No trouble comes of it. Luckily, it's going to be a save for Hunter Whitlock. Whitlock back on the track in that number 5 machine. And a look at the Empire Designs Chevy Camaro. Nearly loses that at corner number 2, but gets back straight. Nice and smooth. Great job there to get that recovery going. And James Thurston once again has a gap. He has been in control. And it looks like a typical James Thurston victory when he gets back out in front or gets that lead at all. If he can manage to keep it up, he will be out in front and nobody will be there with him. Now here at Michigan, it's hard to break the draft. At New Hampshire, his first win of the season, he had a remarkable margin of victory, as it's going to be River Page, and all that time by contact, yes, caution, no. Page again involved with some contact, but does not bring out the yellow as he keeps it straight yet again, and the pack gets bundled up once more. Once again, very close to a caution. River Page going to be in some trouble there, has some damage now, that's for certain, and all of a sudden it's going to be a huge shift. Guys like Kenny Real, Max Molina, Anthony Trippi gaining spots, River Page not so much, and Ross Corlett especially dropping like a rock. He's now going to be down to 15th from leading the way just 2 laps ago. Looks like Ross Corlett not able to handle it so far up in front, dropping down low. Andrew Cootie's down to 5th with Joey Stone in 4th. Ethan Workman now fighting side by side with Jacob Wilkerson for 2nd, and James Thurston out in front on his own. Thurston once again pulls out to a great lead on the restart. And that's the most important part of his strategy. Right now, having that advantage is as big as it can get and making it down to the line in one piece. Lap after lap after lap. Nothing to worry about. He's got that clean air. Nobody's trying to race him, so he can manage his equipment, run his own race, use the line that he prefers the most. He is not pressured to move around, does not have to comply with other drivers and their racing standards. All he has to do is break that draft down the straightaways and keep himself up in front, and that's going to be the key to his success right now. And while Wilkerson is chasing, we saw beforehand if Thurston can get a few more laps up in front, he can break away more than a quarter of a second and maybe stretch it out to more than a second, maybe even crooked numbers. We'll see how big Thurston can get this lead. Leading now from Jacob Wilkerson and then Ethan Workman, first, second, third, 4, 43, and number 23. Joey Stone going to be now in the 4th spot in that number 8, and he finds himself right behind the leading battle with Henry Kaloff there in the 5th spot, breaking away from the rest of the field. It's going to be Kaloff separating the 1st and 2nd pack. Max Molina, Anthony Trippi, Kenny Real, River Page, and Joseph Lewis. That is the driver group that will round out your top 10. River, despite the damage, remains inside the single digits, and even though he had trouble beforehand too, Joseph Lewis now going to find himself in the top 10 as well. Big changes in the front of the field. Now Michael Deitch finds himself 14th and behind Chance Parker. This is is major. If Parker can finish up in front of Michael Deitch, it's nearly a certainty that he'll make it into the playoffs, and so will Michael Deitch if they can both race successfully at Richmond. Now, that's of course because drivers like Michael Cormetis have not been racing week after week, and if they continue to race like that, we're going to see some trouble with Jackson Carr. Carr's going to try to turn Whitlock. Eventually he does, and clearly these two drivers frustrated with each other. No yellow flies, but definitely some tempers boiling over, both hitting each other relentlessly, and that caution thankfully avoided as no other drivers caught up in the shenanigans here. But you can see, first they're going to be going through 1 and 2, and Carr is going to wiggle, not happy about that much, and Whitlock's going to get by, has himself in front of Hunter Bogdan, and then Whitlock gets loose, corners Jackson Carr, and this is when it goes into war. Whitlock's trying to get away, Jackson Carr has none of it, and turns Hunter Whitlock, and just like that, Jackson Carr has been disconnected from the session immediately thereafter. That will be ruled as an intentional incident. It looks like actually he's going to disconnect on his own accord, and just like that, Jackson Carr ends his day, and the number 55 machine opts to end the night prematurely after some contact with Whitlock. Hunter Whitlock not happy about that one at all, but he still gets to keep going, and now it's going to be Whitlock, the final man on the lead lap, 18th in the number 5. 27 laps in and 95. James Thurston leads the way. Looking back up front, you'll see Jacob Wilkerson there second, Ethan Workman third, and Joey Stone position number 4. Rounding out the top 5, it's Henry Caloff, and that's the way it stands. 0.4 of a second, separating your top 4 a second and a half. Now separating the top 5, Molina far away. He's got a pack himself. He's got Henry Caloff, Anthony Trippi, and Kenny Reel all going together as they make it across the line yet again. Big separation, and the packs are forming, but they are not big at all, and this might be the tone of the race. If we can get away from smaller incidents, this could be the way the race goes in its entirety. Longer green flag runs, a lot more strategic action, and since these guys are so far apart, that might be the norm here tonight. As you can see already, Thurston's got himself a 4-car bundle to work with. Nobody else is going to be in sight, and last time we went to a styled track like Michigan, it was Auto Club, and Joey Stone was the race winner. This is the type of track that suits his driving style very, very well, and Stone knows that. He was able to get the race lead with some very good strategic finesse, and that's what kept her up there till the very end. Had a lot of pressure from veterans such as defending champion Max Molina, even guys like Jacob Wilkerson there at the end, but it was still Joey Stone who held out hope and got his first career victory in the FORL Cup Series. And now going for number 2, it's a similar track to Auto Club and the most similar of any track on the schedule. So if he wants to back up his pace on that night just a few months ago, he'd go back to those summer memories and find out what clicked in Auto Club and take it here into Michigan. Very similar racing style, and if you understand it there, you can understand it here. James Thurston certainly coming to grips with tonight much better than Fontana, leading the way for almost every lap of the racing so far, save for those that Ross Corlett got the strategic jump on. Your pulse hitter has been magnificent, and his dominance has been shown. He's been at the top of the scoring pylon all night long, and even with some pressure right now from guys like Wilkerson, Joey Stone, and Ethan Workman, nobody's made it by, and the all-powerful number 4 remains in front. And coming down to the line yet again, second place battle continues to get even more rough. You'll see Jacob Wilkerson down there with no help. He's trying to cut some distance on the bottom side. Joey Stone opts to work there with Ethan Workman, and the drivers for the DeHub Motorsports crew working with each other up in front. Now, DeHub Motorsports made a major signing very recently, signing Max Molina, defending FORL Cup Series champion, to their organization for the remainder of the season and beyond. Now, Molina's already got one win on the tour. He has not been, of course, the dominant man this season, but he's been very consistent, most recently racking up a few podiums in succession and now setting himself up for another good playoff run. Might be one of the guys who gets into the Final Four as one of the favorites for that contention, but the championship still might not be his in terms of being the best driver to go for it. He was fantastic at Phoenix when it means, of course, the most, that championship race. Guys like Molina can get that clutch factor on and go for it. And that number 45 machine knows it's It's all about making it to the dance and going from there. Molina came alive last season in the playoffs, racking up several wins and getting his solo up on the season to a total of 5, winning the season finale, having a fantastic run at Watkins Glen beforehand, and all those successive great moments made up one championship season. Now with a new team behind him, he's definitely got a lot to prove to say that he is still as good as it gets. Doesn't matter what organization he's in, Max Molina wants to be the one to beat, and now finds himself 5th, just behind that lead pack. If these guys have any trouble, Molina will be the first one to swoop in and find himself feeding on what's left of this race lead battle. And so far, so good for James Thurston. Closest battle on the track right now. Let's take a look further back to Michael Deitch and Xander Prestige. This is going to be the battle right now for the 14th spot. Xander Prestige has the edge right now, but Deitch has momentum, and he'll be towed by Hunter Bogdan on the high side. Taking it up to the top side of the track, Michael Deitch has himself the edge, gets down low, and all of a sudden, Michael's going to be up there on the top of the charts. And in terms of the battle, just outside of the top 15, he'll find himself now 13th here. Hunter Bogdan going to be heading 12th. Joseph Lewis is in the 11th, and Chance Parker is in 10th. So Parker having a much better night than his qualifying led us to believe. He looked like he'd be back there outside the top 15, but now firmly inside the top 10. While he has been ran away with, of course, River Page running away with 9th. Chance has an advantage of over 1 second over Joseph Lewis, and with that in mind, 34 laps there of 95 on the day show that Parker is content with running where he is, knowing he is still going to make up points on the cut line, and it might solidify himself even further. He might not be the driver on the bubble by the end of this race. We got drivers who did not show up who could be slotted down even further. Guys like, of course, Dustin Pickle, Ross Corlett not running well today, and that's going to come back to bite him if Richmond doesn't go well either. Now, Cootie, who is going to be in 15th right now, knows his season is not in jeopardy. And Ross Corlett, he won. He's not even that much trouble. But Dustin Pickle needed a fantastic run tonight, and he needed another great run at Richmond, too. So not good at all if this 21 machine stays stagnant in the back of the field. And he certainly knows that there's a lot of anticipation for him to break out and become one of the contending drivers. He's part of a team that's done very well in this league. Bryce Hamrick relegated to being race control, but Andrew Cootie, who's been the big man at the CCH Motorsports team, winning multiple times over, multiple wins this season and the season prior, and most recently the road course ringer of sorts. And he also has Ross Corlett as a teammate, winner most recently at Atlanta. Dustin's day is still yet to come, and while he's shown glimpses of his promise and ability behind the wheel, not looking good if he wants a chance to make it to the playoffs here. This number 21 needs to turn it up here as Hunter Whitlock gets to his back bumper, and Whitlock involved in the incident with Jackson Carr has made it back up to some drivers and might have a way around the 21 as Dustin goes down low, tries to make it through. Whitlock gets a bit of a wiggle, and that's going to stop him. Hunter now finds himself with a bit more trouble in making that pass than he originally anticipated. James Thurston still has the lead, and despite the fact it's not a big lead, the advantage is just enough. He's not pulling away by any large number, but his defense has been on point every lap. Now, it's not one of those tracks where it matters if you're 15 seconds ahead. It's not like New Hampshire, not like where James Thurston has won before in a huge, dominating fashion. It's not going to be as, shall we say, unexciting or unmotivating for the other drivers to keep on chasing him. There is still a chance in their minds. They know it's not over right now. They're still within sight of your race leader, so it's not going to be done and done just because they're not there right now. It's not a 15-second gap, nothing major. However, the defense in the clean air and dirty air difference is substantial, and that's the real key to James Thurston's success to this point. If you can manage that clean air better than anyone else, you'll be head and shoulders ahead of the field. And right now, James Thurston, knowing he has that huge advantage that some of the drivers don't. He finds himself now up there, 39 laps in of 95. He's had the clean air almost every lap. He has not been shredding his tire. He has not had to worry about much. He just has to think about when when that fuel run is going to end. 21 laps in on this stint, so should be coming soon within the next 15 odd laps, but otherwise the tires are just fine, in the best position they could possibly be in, and he's had his competitors chasing him, clawing back and forth to make up any time. So far they're working a bit harder than he is, and he's going to relish in that fact, keeping himself up in front now to lap 40 of 95 on the day. And it's a great view out front for James Thurston here. 40 laps into the 95 scheduled, coming up on the halfway point very, very soon. Good look so far for this number 95 team. Of course, further back in the field, Brandon Rismler we mentioned about for last week, and some guys having one-hit runs. Now, Rismler's was getting a very good run last week in Atlanta, top 5. Some drivers having their best run of the season right now. Anthony Trippi looking further back in that number 84 machine. That Chevy Camaro is running 8th right now, and for the Octane Gaming team, while Trippi's not been able to show consistent success all season long, whenever he finds himself in a good position, he can usually maintain it. While you have not seen the best of him all season, this is one of those races that highlights the skill he has in managing the long race. A very patient driver when it all comes down to it, tries to get away from trouble, get away from the action and the limelight, and that gives him a much better shot when push comes to shove. He gets in the wall just a bit there, but still finds himself firmly inside of the top 10. 8th place right now for Trippi. Chance Parker is 9th and got by River Page for 10th. Michael Deitch is now 11th and is chasing down River Page about a 1/10 of a second faster each and every lap. Clean air is helping him out, that is for sure. So keep an eye out for Michael Deitch as he continues to move with James Thurston now head of the field. 42 laps in, Joey Stone will be second, 1 second behind. Stone gets to the runner-up spot and then gets loose immediately after. The second place battle is still far from over, and it's not going to be done just yet. Battling down the stretch, Wilkerson gives a shove to Stone, almost gets a bit more contact in. The A machine runs in the corner a bit deeper, and that's going to give Wilkerson and Workman the chance to maybe run right back and take the spot away down the front stretch. Look at this move from the 43 machine. Wilkerson stays on the bumper, looking for an opportunity to drive high or go low. He'll stay up with Stone, and that time by doesn't have enough speed to really make a pass, but setting himself up for success as the remainder of the race goes on. So far, so good for the second place battle. They continue to fight 1 second away from your leading man. James Thurston still putting himself further from the field, 1 second up now, and even though for a long time the field was still in the vicinity of that number 4, that's not the case any longer. James Thurston is now far and away the leading driver, and looking further back, Joey Stone is second, Jacob Wilkerson is third, Ethan Workman is fourth, and Max Molina is then there in fifth. Kenny Reel's going to be on his back bumper though, and Kenny Reel, with a great rebound race today, was not able to run last week at Atlanta due to a suspension on the behalf of a penalty for a wreck under yellow, but he's back 1 week early and getting on the move in this number 11 machine, looking very good so far, nice and clean racing. Number 11 machine finds himself now in 6th, just a few tenths of a second away from making it up into the top 5. Max Molina continues to block him, and right now that Rocket League machine holds on just to keep the final spot inside the top 5. And maintaining an advantage right now, it is Kenny Reel trying to fight back. Henry Kaloff there in 7th, and so far very consistent up in front. 45 laps in, these drivers have made it through nearly half of the race so far. Only 1 caution, nice and smooth racing for the most part, and Joseph Lewis looks to be in trouble, and that's why he's coming down to pit road for the first competitive stop of the day, and he'll make it in 26 laps on his stint. So a bit early than expected. It is now going to be Joseph Lewis leading the field in, makes the first call down a pit road, and just like that, Lewis will be the man who sets the trend. The GameStop machine comes through, takes Ross Corlett with them, and some early pit stops being made to split up the rest of the race. Now Corlett's in, Joey Stone, James Thurston, Wilkerson, and Workman all remain up there on the top of the board, but now they'll have to think about when pit road becomes an option, because Michael Deitch and Xander Prestige just made it in at the same time, another group of drivers come down to pit road. This time around, back markers doing it first, then the midfield is expected to, and finally, the race leaders are stretching it as long as they can. So the yellow flag not going to fly. We'll have some natural green flag pit stops here, and great to see a long run developing here in Michigan. Looks like at the line, James Thurston out in no man's land indeed. A second and a half up on Joey Stone. Then going to see Ethan Workman third, Jacob Wilkerson fourth, and Max Molina then in fifth. Down to pit road this time by Chance Parker and River Page. This is the middle of the field that we mentioned. 49 laps to go this time by. Next time around is set to be our halfway mark with 48 laps in and 48 laps to go. Now two other drivers make it in, coming in usually in pairs it looks like, and that's the way it's going to go for the drivers who have come in to this point. And just like that, now 9 drivers remain. Last of which is Hunter Bogdan, then there's Trippy, Kaloff, Reel, and it looks like James Thurston makes it in, bobbling and barely saves it. And Thurston gives us a showdown at pit road, somehow keeps it going, no penalty, doesn't glide off the track, and James Thurston is gonna dance his way into pit road with the fastest entry he can give us. Man, oh man, Thurston keeps the show alive and gives us some excitement as he makes a daring drive into pit road. How about that for that number 20 machine right behind you? You see that's going to be the number 24 of River Page, and he might have watched that in his rear view mirror. Let's take a look on back and see how James Thurston did it. You can see by this point he's down at pit road. Take it back 15 seconds and we'll watch overhead to see how this number 4 machine made it work. You can see he was close to losing it right there, bringing it back one more time to show you even more of that incident. And it wasn't much an incident, it was more James Thurston saving it with some tremendous car control. Watching overhead, you'll see a bit more work from James Thurston inside the cockpit as we take a look within the number 4. And some quick motions back and forth just to lock it down, and doesn't lose a lot of time because of how hard he came into pit road. He's going to be able to save himself from losing much, and just like that, on pit road, James Thurston still is, and it looks like now Joey Stone leads the way. Just like that, Thurston's got some trouble, and he remains on pit road, so it looks like he's going to get a speeding penalty regardless of what happened. It looks like he is going to be a bit too quick entering out of control. James Thurston penalized for that run on a pit road, and that's going to cost him almost every chance he has at the win. Save for the yellow flag, Thurston is now going to be in jeopardy, and we see Henry Kaloff coming this time by. Last driver out in front is Joey Stone, and now Joey's the only man remaining on the circuit with 46 laps to go. All of a sudden, Stone might have a very real chance of getting this race win. He's going to see himself lose some time to Jacob Wilkerson. This is a signal to come into pit road here and now. Joey Stone drops it deep, gets on the way, and just like that, number 8 machine is in this time through. Final man with Ethan Workman now set to cycle up to the race lead. He's 28 seconds away from it as it stands. He should be able to get back in front and leave Joey Stone behind. One man spins, that's going to be River Page. Everyone keeps it together, just a 360. That brings out the yellow flag. River Page and the caution's going to fly. That's going to be a yellow flag brought out as River goes through and brings out the caution. Number 16, that's the placement for Page as he brings it out with a pirouette 360. Yellow flag is out, and just like that, caution for the second time today. River Page involved with this one. Nobody else spins. Nobody else is involved at all, but either way, caution's out all the same. And looking with an overhead shot of this incident, River Page going to be there with James Thurston. You could see a spin coming off the side of the number 24 machine, and River Page and James Thurston, who are both given speeding penalties off pit road, get involved with each other, make some contact, and just like that, spin around in a moment's notice. Caution is out, and just like that, River Page going to bring out the second of the day. 45 laps to go in your green flag pit cycle, interrupted by another caution for cause. And just like that, yellow flag flies. River Page going to be back on the move with 45 laps remaining. Joey Stone is your leading driver, just got himself effectively a free pit stop, now on the newest set on the racing circuit, and this could be the moment of glory for Joey Stone. Now out in front with every spot he needs. He's in first, has that track position, has a fresher set, and all of a sudden it might be Stone's race to win, so long as he holds on to this ever valuable track position up in front. Coming down to the line this time through, going to be 44 laps to go, set to go back green with 42 laps remaining, and Stone will lead the way with Workman then second, Jacob Wilkerson third, and Max Molina fourth. Kenny Rio rounds out the top five, and Henry Kaloff is going to be in sixth. Chance Parker is seventh, with Anthony Trippi then eighth, and Sander Prestige is in ninth. Michael Deitch rounds out the top 10, and Hunter Bogdan finds himself 11th, still 17 drivers on the track and 16 on the lead lap, going back to River Page and the number 24. Dustin Pickle's going to be there in the number 21 machine, and he's going to be 15th right now. Up to 14th as Ross Corlett comes into pit road at the same time. Still a pit cycle on the move, but not many drivers coming in. Leader and Joey Stone finds himself advantageous track position, newest set of tire, and he might have the tickets to victory if he can hold on till the very end. As the drivers come through, this time by second yellow flag of the day, first of which came out very early in the race, and now after a long green flag run and some green flag pit strategy, everything is reset. Once again, it is going to be Joey Stone leading the way as we go one lap to green. This time by, right after Stone, you're going to see Workman, Wilkerson, and Max Molina, defending champion, going to be just ahead of Kenny Reel, rounding out your top five, and that's the way it will go when they come across the start-finish line this time through. Joey Stone set to do it all over again, but this time as the control car, and we'll see where he chooses to go as they come across the back straightaway this time by. And as the field comes by, 43 laps to go. It's been a fantastic racing night, a lot of green flag runs, and after an early session hiccup, looks like we've been good to go ever since that point. Racing has been great. We've seen a lot of strategic battles, a lot of good racing, and two very minor incidents have brought out the yellow flag. Luckily, that's all we've seen. Most drivers able to keep it very, very clean, and that's the way you love to see racing unfold here at a big track like Michigan. Coming down to the inside line, Joey Stone will go. He'll have Ethan Workman go up top. Max Molina opting to follow his teammate, and it looks like Jacob Wilkerson heads to the bottom for PBR, and now Stone's got some company in the number 43. The big three who've been running up in front all night long see a bit of a swap. Joey Stone goes up high, Jacob Wilkerson down low, so the control car's up on the top, and the guys who've been dominant all night long are yet again up there in front. James Thurston's going to have to claw his way back through. He finds himself now in 10th, but it is Stone, Wilkerson, and Workman. We're fighting for second all night long, now with a chance to go for the win. Question is, can they execute and get it done? We'll find out this time by as the drivers come through for another lap of action. It's going to be lap number 54. They head back to the green with 42 laps remaining. Here we go again with a green flag flying here from Michigan. Joey Stone will lead the way with Wilkerson and Workman right there to round out the podium. And just like that, it's going to be Joey Stone out in front, putting that number 8 machine in the perfect position with a huge drive from James Thurston. And all of a sudden, Thurston finds himself back in a leading battle. It's like he didn't miss a beat. Goes down low to try to take it 3 wide on Workman and Wilkerson, and does so without hesitation. Thurston's already up to second and finds himself in 1 lap from 10th to the second spot. Now down to the bottom side, looking for Joey Stone on the inside line. Stone already finds company from the most dominant man all night long, and it's going to be Thurston heading down to the bottom groove, making it happen. Joey Stone going to see that number 4 machine is right there. Still does not hesitate. Ethan Workman's going to make it through 2, and it looks like Thurston fades back with no momentum. Nobody helping that number 4. They know how quick he is. They don't want to give him any extra assistance, and Max Molina now drops down to the bottom side. Huge move now for that number 45. Thurston's got the newest tires in the entirety of the field. Joey Stone Stone has the second youngest set. He's going to have to manage it here because he knows that Thurston can be quick no matter how old his tires are. And if he has a tire advantage, he becomes that much faster. So really, he is the target right now. This number 4 is a moving target for every driver. And if he runs around them and gets by, it might be game over before it all really began. A huge shuffle down the backstretch. Going to be a few drivers getting a bit loose. Bogdan particularly going to find himself worried back. And Xander Prestige now gets the spot. Anthony Trippi there. Hunter Whitlock is as well. 3 wide, number 5 machine down low. Optic Gaming sees their 84 in the middle of Anthony Trippi. And Michael Deitch is there up top. Joey Stone leads the way this time by 40 laps remaining down to 39. And now that number 8 machine puts himself there on the top of the list. Joey Stone's got it, and now Max Molina looks down low. 3 wide with James Thurston ripping it way high, and the number 4 looks to keep that momentum going. Goes top, now tries to fake it down low. No room. He'll stay on the back bumper of Ethan Workman and give a shove as long as he can until he has to opt out of the aggression. Goes up top and sends it 3 wide for the race lead. Joey Stone finds himself in the middle and sees it 4 wide. Michigan's got 4 grooves of racing and every driver using them accordingly. Now the bottom side has the race lead, but just barely. 4 abreast at the line. It is still 4 wide as they head into turns 1 and 2. No driver giving up and finding themselves one by one. 4 wide for the race lead even still. Looks like Wilkerson backs off first, and they're still 3 wide up in front. Joey Stone remains to the bottom side here. He's still going to keep a quarter panel on the Ethan Workman machine. Now has to dive it deep to stay in the battle. Thurston now has the race lead, and James Thurston up high from 4 wide down to 3 wide, down to side by side, gets the advantage, and at the stripe, the number 4 machine is back on top. Huge run for James Thurston to get back up to the race lead so quickly after that disaster of a pit road call. It was a great save, yes, but it was a penalty all the same, and the yellow flag that comes out immediately after that he was involved in saves him from losing any more time. River Page going to spin around to the back of James Thurston, bringing the yellow flag out once again, and that is the saving grace, giving Thurston another chance to go at it. He's going to have Ethan Workman right there too. Joey Stone, Max Molina still going to be fighting, and all of a sudden, Stone's got some life on the bottom side, so it ain't over just yet. All of a sudden, Joey Stone works his way down to the bottom, and the Empire Designs 190 sees another driver make a move into the leading battle of the race. Max Molina's there too. How about Kenny Real? Kenny's getting quick, and now we've got ourselves a huge pack up in front, and everyone thinks they've got a chance of the win. Doesn't matter if they really have one or not. They're all up there for a good reason. They got the pace. Dustin Pickles, the final driver in frame here. It's more than 10 drivers looking for a shot at the win, going way high. That's Kenny Real on the high side indeed. Number 11 machine going to take it to the top for some more momentum. And it looks like he'll get some more on Jacob Wilkerson. Joey Stone fades back to 4th. Max Molina now going to be 3rd. Side by side of the stripe, Ethan Workman pulls himself back on top. Huge move up there for the 23 machine. And the momentum is just enough to make it back on top indeed. Ethan Workman leading from James Thurston. They're still fighting each other with Thurston getting very loose and saving it immediately. That was no hesitation. It was a racing instinct move. And that number 23 machine gets back up in front. Middle of the groove sees a Max Molina go for it. It looks like Molina now takes 2nd. He's up there with nobody else competing with them for the runner-up spot. James Thurston fades back now to 3rd, and Ethan Workman now has just enough an advantage to maybe break away. The question is, how long will it take him? Because breaking away from this pack has been hard, even for the dominant man of James Thurston. If you have this lead, it's a bit easier. But even still, these drivers will give you a run for your money, even if it's going to be anything. Terms of 1/10 of a second a gap, maybe less than that. It could be even more, but as long as they have the draft, it becomes incredibly hard to separate yourself from the competition. You might be quicker, you might be better, you might have newer tires, does not matter. Right now, Workman even has older tires than most of the field, and he still has the lead. You gotta find out what it takes to break away. As Chance Parker down to the apron, he's in 6th, makes a mistake, loses time, and keeps himself out of harm's way. Michael Deitch hangs back in 12th here. He's going to try to make it up there to the 42 of Parker. They're still fighting to make it into the playoffs together. 42 of Parker bangs the wall and has even more trouble. And just like that, chance might be a miss as another driver goes around. Molina wrecks and the yellow flag will fly. Max Molina gets involved in this one and it is going to be big. Max Molina, Ross Corlett bring out the third caution of the day. Yellow flag is out and it's going to be caused by Molina and Corlett with the yellow flag going through once again. As the drivers come through this time by, you'll see Max Molina is going to be right there in the 45 machine, and it looks like it starts with him. Corlett was way back in the field here, so we'll find out what really caused this. Some drivers are going to get shuffled, and this is the consequence of aggressive racing, and it looks like it's going to come to bite the field a bit early. Thurston, contact with Molina once, twice, 3 times, and they knock him out. Corlett gets the biggest hit. Looks like some contact with Kaloff and Kenny Reel too. Another driver goes flying through, spinning. River Page that looked to be, but gets it back straight. And the yellow flag is out immediately thereafter. Caution goes on the circuit yet again. And just like that, with 32 laps remaining, we find ourselves back under pacing. iRacing official pace car leads the way. Going to be for the Cleveland.com crew. Ethan Workman out in front with 32 laps remaining. Set to go down to pit road this time by. Some drivers gonna make their move in early. Other drivers maybe gonna try to split this remainder of the race either way. This could be the money stop as we saw drivers stretch it up to about 30 odd laps. But it is not going to be a certainty. Coming down this time by, what does Workman opt to do? He will go down to pit road and he'll bring the rest of the field down. No hesitation. Everyone's in at once and pit road will get busy once again. 64 laps in a 95. Drivers come in once more and the green flag going to come out with about 30 laps to go, if not 29. Pit road is busy and we find ourselves amidst another strategy battle here down below the racing surface. Pit road in action. Let's find out who gets off first. Race leader, that's going to be determined after what could be the money stop here in the Empire Designs 190. And Kenny Reel going to be able to take that race lead just ahead of Ethan Workman, Joey Stone, Jacob Wilkerson, James Thurston, and Chance Parker with a great stop just ahead of Hunter Whitlock. Then Dustin Pickle, Michael Deitch, and Hunter Bogdan. That will round out your top 10. And still waiting a few drivers as Joseph Lewis is set to go up into 11th. Top 10 come out very quick, and it looks like Kenny Reel is the fastest of them all. Kenny now up in front with some front end damage. See how much longer he can last there. You can see that damage. While it might not be the biggest with the draft, it's not going to be good for him up in front. If he wants to be that leader, the guy up in front commanding the draft, you cannot manage with a car that has that much front end damage, because if the motor is damaged, let alone the aerodynamics, you'll be clearly slower. That's something you cannot fix easily. So the yellow flag will fly with 31 laps remaining. It's still out there as we get a glimpse of the iRacing official pace car as it comes through the corner. And just like that, we'll be set to go with only 29 laps left. It's been a thriller so far here in Michigan. Kenny Reel going to drop down to the apron here. Choose rule only going to be used on the back straightaway, so no worrisome time for these drivers as Kenny Reel takes it down low to the pit road. He'll lead a lap and be done with it. Ethan Workman leads the way now and has that control yet again. Yellow flag still out with 30 laps left. Going to be 29. We get back to it once again. Choose rule going to be put into effect all the same, and just like that, number 23's got the edge. Then Joey Stone in second. Jacob Wilkerson is going to be in third, and so far, very good driving from all fronts. Only 3 yellows, and most of which minor incidents. That most recent caution, the biggest wreck we've seen all night long. And now we hope to keep it green till the very end. Big pit stop that time by. Might be the money stop that determines the remainder of the strategy all night long. That remains to be seen too. Still up in the air for a lot of these guys as they come through this time by. Looks like Workman stays high. He'll take Joey Stone with him and Chance Parker too. Wilkerson, Thurston both make it down to the bottom, and they'll bring Joseph Lewis, and Xander Prestige comes with as well. So now, survival of the fittest. If you made it this far, you've survived to this point, you've got a shot to maybe chase it down for the race win. 66 laps in at a 95, going on a lap number 67. Let's get back on the move here, as it's going to be Workman and Wilkerson first and second respectively. Green flag set to fly on the Empire Designs 190, led by the 23 team. James Thurston still back there. While he has not been dominant ever since his pit road blunder, he clawed himself back fast. He's now in third. He won't have to work as hard, and he might just be back there with a chance to get through for the race win. A lot of drivers still have a great chance on the inside line and outside too. Green flag flies with only 29 laps remaining. Workman leads him, and the rest of the pack is soon to follow. And with a huge bolt out on the front of the field, Ethan Workman gets away. Joseph Lewis can have some trouble there in the number 28 machine. Lewis fades back big. Number 28 machine for the GameStop crew gonna fade into the outer realms of the top 20. 16th place in the final man in the lead lap just like that. Not at all the start he wants to this run, and Workman's got exactly what he needs. Track position. Let's take a look on board with Joey Stone as he's right behind this leading battle and see what's going on with the number 8 machine as he watches your podium fight up in front. And Thurston looking to take it 3 wide already, and this has been his trademark move all night long. Sends it deep, goes 3 wide, has it down to the bottom side, and clears for the race lead. Works his way up as well as he can, and with a very smooth transition up to the top, gets all the momentum he needs to clear the rest of the field. Fantastic move from James Thurston, 69 laps in. A very nice way to reclaim that race lead. And just like that, with 27 laps remaining, James Thurston up in front from Workman, Wilkerson, and then there on out, James Thurston sees Joey Stone just outside the podium. Now the first group breaking away yet again. Second pack coming into form as well. You'll see right there's going to be River Page working with the Empire machine of Hunter Whitlock, and then finally the number 42 machine of Chance Parker. Parker right now 7th. Michael Deitch is in 9th. We'll keep an eye on the final battle inside the playoff picture. Right now coming tonight, Chance Parker has the edge over Deitch, but both drivers hoping to gain on drivers who are not in this race, such as Michael Cormetis. A double top 10 might be the best case scenario for the both of them, but you know, Deitch wants to make up some spots on Parker, so even though he might not have that ability just yet, he's only 2 spots away, the closest he's been since the beginning stage of this race, where he was up in front by at least 5 spots every lap. Thurston down low yet again, takes it for the race lead, beats and bangs, finds himself down to the bottom, and has that race lead all over again. James Thurston up in front of the number 4, leading over Ethan Workman, and Workman tries to take it to the bottom side. No dice that time by, goes up top, more the same. Great blocks by Thurston, and just enough to keep himself where he needs to be. Workman goes up high, has a bit of a run. Will it be enough? They door bang yet again. And the aggression, it is evident so far. Thurston, while he's been able to hold that lead, Workman not giving him anything easy. And with 25 laps to go, they made it this far, 71 laps into this race. And it looks like now we are seeing some frustrations begin to boil over. Joey Stone, Jacob Wilkerson, they are right there too. And Thurston finds himself in a battle for the lead, not even focusing on whether or not Joey Stone or Jacob Wilkerson have any plans in mind. They might have the next move up, and they might be the difference between winning and losing for the drivers just ahead. They could choose to play favorites here, work with whoever they want to, and maybe give that push and momentum. And that's not even accounting for the fact they want to win for themselves. Another bang down to the bottom side. Thurston takes it way down low, and Jacob Wilkerson now is the run, and Wilkerson takes him 3 wide. 43 machine gets the lead quite easily, drops up to the middle groove, and finds himself up ahead, planting himself as they might go 4 wide all over. Joey Stone gonna try to take it there, doesn't have enough room. 3 wide for the race lead. Workman has it, Wilkerson doesn't, and Joey Stone close as well. Still not enough. And now with 23 laps to go on the agenda, 22 to go as always, and FTN will bring you a Crank It Up, courtesy of the best camera partners on the iRacing platform. Track cams for Gormans or TrackCams22.com provide high-quality iRacing sim racing cameras for over 100 tracks and cars. The combinations are limitless on Track Cams for Gormans platform. Sign up for a subscription today at TrackCams22.com as we give you the uninterrupted, unfiltered sights and sounds for the Michigan International Speedway. Let's crank it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. And some calamity under our Crank It Up, courtesy of TrackCams22.com. You might have seen it, but now with 18 laps to go, coming down to 17, Jacob Wilkerson and Joey Stone, the rookies this season who have been on top of their game, have another chance to go for the race win all over again. Joey Stone, 79 laps in, finds himself second here with a total of 0.2 of a second separating himself and Wilkerson. And after James Thurston made some huge contact, he's in trouble and now finds pressure from Chance Parker, and Parker having a career run, finding himself now in fourth with only 17 laps left. And this could be the run that locks him into the regular season conclusion, and on to the playoffs he will go. River Page is going to be there in the top 5 right now. Max Molina 6th, Michael Deitch 7th. So the underdogs who need this run, they're getting it much better than anticipated. All of a sudden now guys like Deitch and Parker up there where they need to be, and the leading battle goes back to two of the young guns in this field who we haven't seen up there head to head for quite a while now. They've got a chance to fight for it once again, and with 16 laps left, it's going to be the Wilkerson and Joey Stone show up in front. The McConey setup machine has it there. The setup shop crew, Jeff McConey and all, having that gold and black color scheme applied to the number 43. And Wilkerson, while he has not been the dominant man all night long, has played his cards right. Saw the contact between Thurston and Workman, and now with Ethan Workman fading way back 3 laps down, and Thurston is struggling to survive within the podium, it's now going to be a 2-car race for the win. And Joey Stone, who won the most recent track with 2 miles in length, it was of course Auto Club, sees this track as a great opportunity, and Wilkerson wiggles big, and Joey Stone gets a huge shot down the back straightaway, and he'll be good to go down low for the race lead. Gives some contact to Wilkerson yet again, slides him through 3 and 4, but it looks like Wilkerson puts himself back together. And some big-time aggression in the blocking. Jacob Wilkerson finds himself up to the wall. Joey Stone goes down to the apron, getting every inch cut off the lap, and that's good enough to get back to the top spot. Joey Stone leads the way with 14 laps remaining, and the Empire Designs 190 will see him once again beat and bang for the top spot. And despite some damage, James Thurston might not be limping anymore. Gets back on the way and finds himself in the 3rd position, right behind your leaders. They're so close to each other, beating and banging, getting so rough with it that they're giving Thurston a chance to get into the mix himself. Now, down the bottom side, James Thurston is there, looking deep for another chance at the race lead, and all of a sudden, the number 4 machine recovering from an incident to be 3 wide of the line, and it will go that time by to Wilkerson, but it ain't over yet. Now Joey Stone puts himself in a great spot. He's still in the bottom side. He'll go right down to the bottom indeed, and it looks like James Thurston goes there too. Thurston is a bit more on the exit, and that's good enough to even bring River Page in the picture. Page now up there too. And just like that, 4 drivers fight for the lead yet again. New face in River Page, and Thurston somehow recovering after an incident. Joey Stone and Jacob Wilkerson roughed each other up so much that Thurston takes the lead once again. And now with 13 laps left, a baker's dozen gives the number 4 the top spot. Advantageous once more. Thurston leads them with a dozen to do it. Now he's got it up in front, while these 2 behind him continue to fight each other like they're going for the lead. Wilkerson and Joey Stone have been battling ever since the very first lap of this race, and most often they've been battling for second. Now they find themselves back battling for the runner-up spot yet again, but with so much on the line and so little distance between themselves and the race leader James Thurston, maybe time to run in line for a little while and get that momentum going. because even River Page is getting quick, and River now finds himself in the second spot, the highest he's been all night long. Number 24 machine works his way right down low. River going to be up into the second spot, and he'll have Jacob Wilkerson and Joey Stone to defend upon with 11 laps remaining. This is what it's all come down to, a final dash between the best of the best. James Thurston, he has been on his game all night long. He's been able to avoid some troubles on pit road. The strategy might not have been perfect. He even found himself in the wall just a few laps ago, but now he's here yet again with a plan to get to the end. Wilkerson's going to go down to the bottom side on River Page once more. Page finds himself up top. Wilkerson is on the middle of the track as they come around this time by 11 laps remaining. Lap traffic up ahead, that will be Anthony Trippi. So Trippi fading back outside the lead lap territory. He's currently scored in 15th, and all of a sudden that number 84 machine might not have enough left to compete. He'll be put one down by the drivers just ahead of course, everyone else in the field, and now this pack of four looking to make it by the first lap machine on pace all night long. 10 laps to go. This time by, coming down to the single digits, and James Thurston has himself up ahead. River Page has been driving a great final stretch to get himself back up in a second, and Jacob Wilkerson, Joey Stone too, still there fighting for a podium, and Wilkerson tries to shake River, doesn't get much of it at first, but now Page is going to be in the wall, and that gives Joey Stone a chance as well. Joey's going to drop down low, forces to put River Page up high, and pitching that number 24 up top to give Stone a better chance for himself. Now Joey's going to be back in the battle for second with Anthony Trippi racing James Thurston somewhat hard here. It might be enough to even give the 43 a shot for the win, and that it will. Now Wilkerson's going to be back within 1/10 of a second. James Thurston drops down low, but he has a lot of pressure there from Anthony Trippi to deal with, and that's going to give the lead not away per se, but it's going to be even closer than Thurston would like. Now with 8 laps remaining, it is far from closed, and now Thurston sees Wilkerson and Stone battling each other again. River Page fades out of the presence of the leaders once more, but he's got to make it by Anthony Trippi. The faster he makes it by that number 84 machine, the better a shot he has to make it through for another run. Trippi gets in the wall, Joey Stone too, and now Stone might find himself off the podium. If River gets a good enough run and lunges it deep, it looks like now it's going to be Wilkerson and James Thurston separating themselves from even Stone and Page. Now 2 groups of 2 drivers going for it till the very end. 8 laps to go, coming out of 7 this time by Wilkerson blinks, Thurston stays steady, and now we are lap 89 with so little left. This is the moment of truth, the final laps. You gotta make it happen here. If you've waited this long, if you're Wilkerson, Stone, Page, put all you got into this run. Nothing else coming after this. And even if there was an overtime, still very little in terms of laps. This could be the final stretch as it stands. Look off the back bumper again of James Thurston. See that number 4 machine trying to stretch the lead already. It looks like after a bit of pressure being put on him, he's already making that sign back up. Not a good sign for anyone else in the field. 190 miles might come down to this. Thurston's got the lead, and now 90 laps through, he's stretching it on the number 43 of Wilkerson. Joey Stone fading back. River Page there too. Battle for the podium, and they're all looking to get back up there in the top 3. River Page, Joey Stone, they want this one bad. Stone missed a race. He's been on a full-time campaign. He needs a podium to recover, and Chance Parker, if he sees anything, he's waiting in the wings there. If there's trouble between Page and Stone or whoever else up in front, it could be Chance making it up there for a top 3 finish. And who knows, with Anthony Trippi still laying down some pressure on the leaders, it could happen. And now up in front, there are 5 laps to go. Stone going to remain with River Page. River still sees Anthony Trippi right there in the back bumper. They remain so close to each other that Trippi, in fact, goes high to try to make a pass on River and beats and bangs once again and will collect River Page. They're going to get beaten and banged once again, and it looks like River gets damaged. The lap machine of Anthony Trippi gets involved with River Page, and River loses almost every chance he has to make it up to the podium. Man, oh man, Anthony Trippi, the lap machine, stayed as hard as he could with those top drivers, and that's the consequence. No yellow flag. River Page loses a load of time, and now sees Max Molina and Chance Parker gaining even more. 4 laps to go. Thurston now up in front by half a second. Less competition than ever. River Page out the picture. Wilkerson and Stone, they might be able to battle for second again, but right now nobody up there with the leading driver, James Thurston, and that's the way he likes it. Now the 43 of Jacob Wilkerson runs steadily in second. Joey Stone looking to cruise home in third, and now some battling going to happen here with Chance Parker and Max Molina coming up on Page. And River definitely has damage by now if he didn't before. And you can see the 45 coming through quicker and quicker with still little time remaining. 3 laps to go this time by for all drivers here in the Empire Designs 190. Some who won't be able to make it on one stint are going to come down to pit road. Bogdan and Joseph Lewis alongside Anthony Trippi involved in that incident all make it down. And now with 3 laps left, they'll be coming up on Ethan Workman, another lap machine. And we saw that he got involved with James Thurston before, so we see whether or not it's going to be another rough lapper. He's slowing down big. Thurston's coming up. What's going to move be for the number 4 machine? He's going to drop down low. Workman stays with them, hangs side by side. Door bangs, and they're banging big side by side, and it looks like Workman's gonna give him something, and Thurston tries to run away, gets a bigger run again, but they're still gonna be side by side, and Thurston's getting beat on by a lap machine. Ethan Workman makes it that much harder, and with 2 laps to go, it's gonna be racing with the number 23 that might determine the chances for Stone and Wilkerson. Lapper of Workman Workman's gonna give him hell, and Ethan is not happy, not in the slightest. Now James is trying to find a way to bait him out the way, and there he has it. Workman goes up top, and now Wilkerson and Joey Stone might have one last chance. One lap to go. White flag gonna fly. Thurston had to put all that effort up, and the caution flies either way. We're going to overtime because River Page just wrecked. Hundreds of feet before the line, the caution flies, and we will have an overtime to conclude this one here in Michigan. And somehow this flew before the white flag was dropped. Just inches away, River Page going to bring out the caution. Man, oh man, Chance Parker goes down low. He finds himself going for the spot there. That was looking for about the 5th position. Chance has it. And River here tries to get back to him, pushing very hard, and you can see where it all comes apart. Exit of turn 4, and he gets hit by Workman. Man, oh man, the lap machines have been absolutely dangerous tonight. And that's what causes it. Looking back at that again, man, you wouldn't expect it looking at the feed, and it's not going to be River Page getting loose, not him turning up into the wall. He had room and gets hit by the lapper of Ethan Workman. Workman, who tried so hard to get into James Thurston, takes River Page, and that is what brings out the yellow. Unbelievable. And take a look how close this was to the white flag flying. Thurston coming around, he was almost there. He was about, 300 feet away from the line, and the yellow flag drops just before he makes it there. Taking a look at how close it is, the green light is still on by this point, and the yellow drops. Wow, that's the difference between racing till the end. And just like that, yellow flag is out. Thurston finds himself now on pit road, gets back out in the lead, and the checkered flag going to be delayed for an overtime finish. 96 laps in, River's not happy. He's back on the track with damage. We'll see what he's up to, because River is still there. He just lost one of the wheel wells, and he's crab walking with absolutely no control. Look at how much damage he has. And River Page is still going for some reason here. And I don't know what the goal is right now, but he's certainly not happy. Looking for someone. He might be looking for Workman. And it looks like Ethan Workman is still on the track right now. So that's definitely the... No, he's not on the track. He went down 15 laps. Looks like there's going to be a disconnection there. So now River's just going to keep the race alive for him. Thurston, Wilkerson, Ross Corlett, that is your current top 3. And that's the way they'll be lining up for the final restart of the day, if we can make it back to the white flag. Overtime procedure 3 days in a row here at FTN, and when we least expected it, we will get another finish going, extending this race past the 95 laps scheduled. We're at lap 96 right now. We'll be racing at lap 98. The way it goes here, if you're not familiar with overtime procedure on iRacing, we have 3 green-white checkered attempts in the FORL Cup Series to finish this race without a caution being necessary. The way it goes is if we have a yellow flag before the white flag falls, we'll have up to 3 attempts to get through. This is the first. We'll have 2 more extensions if necessary. But if we get a yellow flag on that 3rd extension, no matter what, the race ends, and that is that. Now, if we get the extension or 2nd time, or we get to the white flag here, we get to the white flag in either scenario or all scenarios, it will be an official race. Checkers or wreckers, doesn't matter. That is what determines the end of the race, no matter what. And James Thurston goes down low. He'll take himself to the bottom, sees Ross Corlett go up high. So the goal for these drivers, make it back to that white flag, and that will be the end of the race effectively. Caution, green flag, checkers or wreckers, overtime procedure relies on getting to the white flag. We have 3 attempts to get there. This is the first. We've got 2 more in our back pocket. Let's see what you have to do as we come down this time by for what will be only the 4th restart of the day. Very clean race overall, and despite the server hiccup early, we've been going strong since then. Now time to see what we've got left. Green flag gonna fly this time by to laps to go. Gonna be James Thurston down low, who's been dominant all night long. Ross Corlett, your defending winner, right there with some minor damage. He's throwing a Hail Mary up top, and Joey Stone right behind him with Wilkerson there too. Pace car's in. Green flag is set to fly for your first overtime of the day. Overtime finish. Let's send it back for a green-white checkered. We're back on the move. 97 laps in, on to 98 of the newly scheduled 99 lap distance. And James Thurston wants to finish. Just went out in one piece. He's got the race lead already. Going to be some trouble down low. Joey Stone finds himself weaving and bobbing, but the number 4 machine stays intact up in front. Now you'll see Thurston go down low, take Chance Parker, take Xander Prestige, and the yellow flag flies. We'll head to double overtime for the third night in a row. What a coincidence there. It's going to be Joey Stone, Xander Prestige, Chance Parker, and the yellow flag flies all over again. Incident again. And it looks like we won't get to the white flag this time. Let's find out what happened here as we bring it back yet again. 3 laps to go. And the instant replay going to show you what caused this one. Chance Parker driving deep. Gets with Joey Stone and Xander Prestige. You'll see Stone tries to get by Corlett. Again gets in the wall. Corlett's going to tag the Stone machine. Then Joey goes down low. Tries to save it. Then comes back up. You'll see then Chance Parker hits Xander Prestige, takes him all of the grass, and the yellow flag flies as a result. So we'll take it to the triple digits now. 99 laps in of 101. James Thurston still leads the way, and with 3 laps to go, how about this one? We'll bring you back with all the action for our second overtime finish. And after quite a long run to nearly cap this race off, it appears it is still not over. Hundreds of feet away from the checkered flag, we get another extension, and now we're on to our second overtime finish attempt. What a big change. Huge incident, and it comes through with an lap machine and River Page. Then we see Joey Stone involved with another driver. Of course, that would be with Chance Parker and Xander Prestige, and all of a sudden, yellow flag is out yet again. Green flag finish. We're still hoping to get one. Green, white, checkered. That's what we hope to see on the way for the remainder of the day. Green, white, checkered. Attempt number 2, overtime finish. We are now at lap number 100. Triple digits on the day so far. Hoping to go back green at lap 102, and the race's finish will be scheduled now for lap 103. That's the way it goes as we come through this time by. It's going to be Thurston, Wilkerson, and then the number 45 of Max Molina to make it through. That's your top 3 so far. Let's get back at it once again as we hope to get through for our second overtime finish attempt. Here, the Empire Designs 190. That's the way to go. James Thurston up in front. Number 4 machine there. Then going to be Jacob Wilkerson second and Max Molina third as we head now to our second overtime attempt. Let's see what they've got. White flag. That's the end of the race no matter what. Checkers or wreckers. They want to get there, but we still have one more overtime attempt in the back pocket if necessary. So if push comes to shove, that's the way it'll go. Coming through this time by, it's going to be James Thurston, Jacob Wilkerson, and Max Molina, 1, 2, 3. Taking it down to the right of the track, they're going to be going up and down. It's going to be the choose cone. In effect, choose rule, shall we say. We'll see whether or not Thurston chooses to go high as the control car or go low. We'll see who joins him because this is the most important race of course, the season for some drivers like Chance Parker, who got involved with that wreck. Michael Deitch now inside the top 5 for a brief moment. You see him there right behind Ross Corlett. So huge differences in the race, and its flow has changed once again. It's a 180 after 180. Looking to finish it on top. Thurston right there. So the pace truck leads him down the backstretch, and they'll now decide for sure who will start high or who will start low. Whoa. Coming through this time by James Thurston down to the bottom side. He's going to have himself up top instead. Chooses to go high and lets Max Molina take it right down to the low side. Jacob Wilkerson is going to then be in the third spot. Ross Corlett right there too. And as they all form up once again, double file, 2x2 only. Now 12 drivers remain on the lead lap. It has been a race of attrition, and for what was a very calm start, it's become a bit more chaotic as time's gone on, and now with a 2-lap shootout just ahead of us, the question still remains, can we get to that checkered flag in one piece? Even the drivers who got involved with that wreck haven't fallen too far. Xander Prestige only fades back into 7th. Joey Stone is now in 9th, and it looks like it's going to be Chance Parker in 10th. So there's still a chance here for the drivers who got involved in that incident, and they're going to go at it once again. Green flag set to fly once more with the iRacing official pace car down and in. It's going to be your second overtime attempt here in Michigan. Thurston leads it. Max Molina right there too. We're back on our way here from Brooklyn. As they come through this time by, already Kenny Reels spinning down low. Single car incident, caution will not fly, and Thurston leads him down with Molina right behind. Now the DeHub Motorsports number 45 machine looking to prove something big. He's looking to get his first win with his brand new organization, but gets washed up high with some trouble right behind. Do they keep it straight? No! Dustin Pickle wrecks, and so does Xander Prestige, and the caution flies. After the white flag? No, we're going to our third overtime attempt. That's another close call, and it looks like we might not finish this race under green after all. Wow, this one has become pure chaos, and Thurston leads, looking further back. Man, oh man, let's find out what happened here, because another example of over-aggression coming to the line. You'll see him, a huge bundle of drivers making big moves. They know what they want, and everyone's taken, nobody's given, and this is the result. Take a look at it once again. Joey Stone dives deep, has Ross Corlett right there as well, and they slide up 3 wide. Then Xander Prestige hits Dustin Pickle, and that's what brings out the caution. And just like that, huge wreck, Dustin Pickle, Xander Prestige, Joseph Lewis, and we'll take it back to your caution cam with James Thurston to find out when that came out. Looking on his roll bar camera right now, we'll take it back 30 more seconds and see whether or not he was even closer than he was the time before to getting the white flag. He tries to look for it again, but it looks like it still eludes him. Take a look back once more and find out what caused the yellow flag. Well, sure, Thurston saw in the rearview mirror. Now see how close the yellow flag lights were to the white flag. And this time not as close, but still about 500 feet away. And that's the difference between the race ending again and now on to our final race extension. This is as far as it goes. No turning back. And just like that, drivers back in formation. James Thurston, 104 laps in of our 95-lap scheduled race, leads the way, and after 2 overtime attempts, for the first time this week, we take it to triple overtime to finish off the Empire Designs 190. And as a matter of fact, yes, this is going to lead us to another green-white checkered, so we can go as long as we want, as long as we need. And it looks like we have another opportunity to go for it once again. It's going to be another chance to get to that white flag, and right now, drivers have already used up 2 chances. Thurston, I'm sure, he's like a lot of these drivers. He wants to get it over with and just go on to the next race. Richmond, which is, of course, up next, he wants to go there and put himself in the position to go for another win. He's been so good tonight, and if the race were to end at lap number 95, well, maybe it would have been his win. But now he has to prove it over and over and over again, and it's chaotic. It's exciting, that's for sure, but sometimes the drivers, they don't like this chaos. It's a bit unfortunate for some of them to deal with, knowing how good they've been. It's been a shaky night for all the field. Of course, having the session issue with qualifying, then going on to resetting and getting back on the way later, and having now several overtime attempts. This is our third of the day as they come through this time by, working down low. Thurston, he's going to have a chance to once again be the control car. 1 lap to green. We'll be going green at lap number 106. Lap 107 is now your official scheduled end time for this race. There are only 10 drivers left in the pack now. Out of 19 that registered, out of the drivers still on the track, that is 15 of which now only 10 are with the pack. Joseph Lewis is catching up to become the 11th of which, but that's how few drivers have remained, and all the trouble has led us to this point. Here and now. Excitement, yes, definitely, and a lot of great racing to come with, but now I'm sure that James Thurston, one of the drivers, a bit more frustrated with how things have gone. Jacob Wilkerson too, and so Max Molina might be as well. The top three definitely looking to secure a great finish. Thurston opts to go down low this time, and that's going to be a difference. Now, looks like Jacob Wilkerson's got high. He'll go with Max Molina down low. Number 45 machine is going to follow Thurston. This could be it. Now, it looks like we don't have 3 overtime attempts. We have unlimited, so this might not be it. We've gone this far, and we still might not be even close to the end, but that's hopefully not the way things go. 3 attempts would be quite a lot. Anything more is going to be absurd, and for a race that was scheduled to end 10 laps ago, we're going to go deep into the dozen after that scheduled distance. Lap 95 was the scheduled point. Lap 107 will be the end. That's the way it'll be as they come around this time by 190 miles of racing here. The Empire Designs 190. We've gone that point and further. To this point onward, it's been over 200 miles, and this will be your 3rd overtime attempt. Thurston leads them. Wilkerson there as well. Green flag flies all over again, and the green flag is indeed out with 2 laps to go. James Thurston leads them. Max Molina there too, and already aggression off the line. And halfway down the back straightaway, this might be the one. Looks like they're all going to be a bit calmer than before. No trouble to this point. Caution has not flown. And now we'll find out whether or not this lap matters, if it will be another chance to re-rack them and restack them. Now, big separation. Chance Parker racing with Michael Deitch, but no trouble. And it looks like this will be the lap that counts. 1 lap to go. Here the white flag will fly. Thurston's got it up in front. And it looks like Jacob Wilkerson is there too. Final lap here in, of course, it's going to be the Empire Designs 190, and James Thurston is looking to be the man to beat as they come across the back straightaway. Jacob Wilkerson still going to be there with some help from Max Molina. Goes down low, James Thurston does, to break the draft, and now finds himself ahead with some trouble behind. Michael Deitch losing time and big. Wilkerson drops down low, uses that apron and roughs up James Thurston. They're in the wall. Contact, and it's big. Now it looks like it's going to be a 4-wide finish, but not enough momentum. At the line, Jacob Wilkerson barely wins it, sends the driver down to the grass, and Hunter Whitlock is sent low. Wilkerson does all he can and fends off the rest of the field to barely finish out in front. We'll take an instant replay of that finish here. Looks like Wilkerson already gets banged up. Man, oh man. That finish is going to be contentious, because look at how high Thurston got put up in the wall. They beat and bang. Molina slows down. Whitlock thinks it's his chance. They nearly go 4 wide. And it looks like no, Whitlock goes in the grass himself. Man, oh man, indeed. 4 wide, nearly at the finish. And that is the end of the racing here in Michigan. Chaos all around. And it's going to be Jacob Wilkerson coming through on top. Jacob Wilkerson wins his 3rd race of the season, getting it done by 13 thousandths of a second over the number 4 machine of James Thurston. Hunter Whitlock going to come through 3rd, then Max Molina 4th, Kenny Reel going to be 5th, Chance Parker 6th, and Ross Corlett position number 7. Going to be Joseph Lewis 8th, and Dustin Pickle the 9th, and Michael Deitch 10th, with position number 11 being held by Joey Stone 1 lap down. 12th going to be Xander Prestige, Henry Kaloff 13th, Hunter Bogdan 14th, and River Page 15th, with Anthony Trippi position number 16. Going to be Andrew Cootie 17th, Jackson Carr 18th, Ethan Workman 19th to round out the field, and Bryce Hamrick registered 20th as your race control as Ethan Workman prepares to... Jacob Wilkerson pulls it through for the race victory. Number 43 machine comes out on top. How about this one for Jacob Wilkerson? Just like that, the 43 commands himself the victory. And for Paintbrush Racing, coming back with a brand new look, it's the McConey setup shop number 43 coming through with the checkered. How about this finish for Jacob Wilkerson? Chaos all around, and at the end, you make it through just fine for a finish here in Michigan. It was chaos, it was a lot of extra laps, but the triple overtime gives you a chance to come through, and that you do. Victory here in the Empire Designs 190. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good right now. Finally, I got another win this season after all the bad luck that's happened to me for like the past 4 races, I think. I sent it in there into turn 3 and 4, just hoping it would stick. I tried to race Thurston as clean as I could on sending it, but he was racing everyone kind of dirty all night, so I decided to do the same thing to him, and it stuck, and we were able to hold on and beat him.
And holding on at the very end, and those overtime finishes gave you the chance to get right back there with Thurston and the front runners and prepare yourself for an even chance at the win. How was it compared to the long green flag runs we had running these short sprints time after time after time?
The long green flag runs, it's definitely you want to be in the lead in clean air when you're on a good green flag run. Just running second behind the leader would just plow the dirty air on you, and it just gets super tight. That was the struggles that we were all having. The only way we would be able to actually pass the leader on a green flag run is if we had somebody pushing us from behind and get a big enough run where we could just send it into the corner and clear him. And that's basically how the race was going.
And able to come through with all the chaos in mind, differences in strategy, ending up with a triple overtime run, and just like that, Jacob Wilkerson out on top here from Michigan. Now the regular season finale next week at Richmond, you're firmly locked into the playoffs, so what's the move from here on out to work toward the playoffs?
Going into as soon as the playoffs start, it's just going to be all about being consistent, just being consistent, and do not get a bad finish or not get wrecked out, because then it would probably put me into a must win going into the next race. So it's just going to be just getting a good finish, basically just the whole playoffs all the way to the championship.
And hoping to lock it down for an even better championship run. The regular season treating Jacob Wilkerson so well with a 3rd win on the tour to this point. Any final thoughts you'd like to add after this race here in Michigan?
Thanks to any people that are watching. Thank you for broadcasting. Thank you to Todd for giving me the chance to race for PBR. Thanks to my partners at McConey Setup Shop and Burnt Rubber Racing Warehouse, and also kind of a thanks to Demos and Walker for kind of coaching me a little bit through those for the final restarts, and it was a fun race.
And able to come through having some fun in the process, Jacob Wilkerson, 3rd win here in the Empire Designs 190, getting it done on top in a chaotic last lap finish. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now, with Jacob Wilkerson on the move, we only have time for one interview on the night. The night ran very long with some issues in the session and all, but Wilkerson comes through and collects the checkered flag here from Michigan. We hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation here on FTM. This has been the Empire Designs 190, and if you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support is always greatly appreciated. I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Great to have you alongside me on all the fun tonight. A chaotic one we're sure to remember. Tomorrow night, doubleheader, going to be Phoenix Raceway, IORA Cup Series, and Martinsville with the Highline Racing League. Keep an eye out for that. Going to be 2 great races coming at the same time. Back to back, basically. So that's going to be another great one to watch, and we hope you enjoyed this one as well. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's race here in the FORL Cup Series. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe. Your support is always greatly appreciated. I've been David Kreutz from FTN. Once again, we hope to have you as viewers on FTN whenever we're live on the channel. Thank you all for your immense support, and we hope you have a great night.